Hello, my people. Good day to you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever time zone you're listening to this, I welcome you to Daily Mind Shift. My name is Michael Ojola for Mindset Transformation Africa. And on today's episode of Daily Mind Shift, I still want to talk a little bit about how you feel. Last week, I spoke about your response to your feeling. When you feel angry, go and exercise, all right? When you feel envy, readjust your focus. When you're worried, practice mindfulness and being present. So today I want us to talk about another feeling. When you feel irritated. When you feel irritated, which is a form of anger, but not the level of anger. So when you feel irritated, I would recommend that you breathe for 30 seconds before you do anything. Breathe for 30 seconds before you do anything. Breathe for 30 seconds before you do anything. All right, so that's one thing I want you to consider when you feel irritated. Breathe for 30 seconds. Some people will recommend, which is almost the same time lapse. Some people will recommend you count from 10 downwards. Counting 1 to 10 or counting from 10 to 1 or 10 to 0 also works. But there is a psychology to this. The psychology is do not do anything immediately. It gives you two things. When you do this, it gives you two things. It gives you time and it distracts you from the feeling you are feeling right now, because you cannot do two things at the same time. Even though you are multi-purposeful, you have multiple potential, multi-potentiality and all that, you cannot do two things at the same time, all right? Your brain is not wired like that. You can be fast in doing multiple things at the same time. That is what multi-potentiality is all about. But you can't do two things effectively at the same time. You need some level of high intense focus. So when you are feeling irritated, that means your focus is on the feelings of irritation. Someone has hurt you or whatever. Your focus is on the feeling of irritation. What I will recommend is simple. Breathe for 30 seconds. As you're breathing, do the exercise of counting 10 to 1, 10 to 0, or counting 10 to 1. Or 1 to 10 or 0 to 10, just count. What is this thing giving you? It's giving you time. Time to think about what just happened. Time to reflect about what your response will be. Time to relax and see, okay, is my response even worth it? Should I respond to this? Because it's not every fight that you enter the ring and fight. Some people are pigs, and pigs will dirty you. When you are wearing a white cloth and you're neat, you don't wrestle with pigs, all right? You don't. So there are some fights and some irritation that should just rub off on you and just bounce out like that, all right? So, but you will not be able to think it through without time. And that is what breathing for 30 seconds before you act will give you. That is what counting down from 10 to 1 will give you. It will give you time. And it also serves as a distraction. You will be able to distract yourself from acting irrationally. Because at the end of the day, when you act irrationally, people will not see what was done to you. They will see your actions. They will see what you said. They will hear what you said, rather. They will see how you act. They will feel somehow about you, because at the end of the day, you will become the villain. Even though you might be the victim, but you become the villain if you don't breathe before you act, all right? If you don't take time to relax, to assess the situation, to be at one with your feeling of irritation before you act, it's more effective because it disarms that feeling of irritation. It helps us, like I said before, you can combine both. Slow down your breath. Slow down your breath. As you're counting 1, you breathe in deep, you breathe out. As you're counting 2, you breathe in deep, you breathe out. Because deep breathing like that counteracts the fight or flight stress reaction that is underlying the feeling of irritation. When you feel irritated, it's either you want to fight or you want to get away from that situation. But when you breathe and you count slowly, you are counteracting that particular feeling of fright or flight. You're fighting against your normal primal responses as a primate that we are. Do you understand? The energy of irritation oftentimes leads to you behaving impulsively. And it aggravates the situation that is already on ground. You make a mess of the situation that is already messy. So you cool off. It's key for you to cool off. And the way I recommend for you to cool off is breathing. Practicing breathing for 30 reps before you do anything, before you say any word, before you even give any body language. You close your eyes and breathe. Just take yourself away. This takes discipline, all right? It's not something that we just because Mike said it, I should go and do it. You have an habit before, and that habit is instant responses, right? So it's not something you start today and be able to do for life. You start to fail until you are able to rewire your brain. But it's key for you to know that that's an option for you. And that's all I'm presenting to you. I'm presenting an option to you for you, that when you feel irritated, breathe for 30 seconds before you act, as you are counting from 0 to 10 or from 10 down to 0. It gives you time, and it serves as a distraction. Because when you are more relaxed and you are in control, you are ready to respond, not to react, which is very key. When you are dealing with any form of irritation, response is better than reaction. The person that is hurting you wants you to react. But you know yourself, is key for you to respond. Respond is key. Respond. That means you've made a careful consideration for what you want to do. You relax and you are trying to make a carefully considered choice about what is the best course of action to take in this particular situation. That will help you and guide your response. See, there are ways that you can regulate any form of irritation. The moment you decide to go into breathing pose, the moment you decide to count from 10 to 1, from 10 to 0, and 0 to 10, you are giving yourself time to respond in 3 ways: empathy, compassion, or assertion. Empathy, compassion, or you assert your position. Empathy is just the ability to see a situation from another person's point of view, and that is cool. That will give you time to really see, okay, is this person trying to hurt me, or they are really hurting and they are just lashing out at what they think is the problem. Do you understand? They might see me as their problem, and if I'm able to enter into their life and be able to see something from their point of view, maybe I will see that it's not me they are trying to fight. They are fighting themselves, seeing and using me as the punching bag. That is not cool, but at least that will give you a point of view. All right, compassion. After you are empathetic, it's harder for you not to feel compassion. You start feeling, maybe something is wrong with this person. Who died for her? Who died for him? It might not be that worse, but what's wrong? And when I say die, I'm not talking about physical always. Some spiritual death can happen. They might be going through a form of loss. So when someone is going through a form of loss, you can feel compassion towards them, that I'm sorry, he doesn't understand the situation. He's just trying to lash out when he needs to relax, something like that. So, and finally, assertion. You need to also be able to constructively confront whatever anybody has done to you that irritates you, all right? Tell them how you feel. I'm confused right now. I'm very frustrated. I'm concerned about how you talk to me. If you really want to engage, own it. Don't say you is putting blame already. That's not a response. That's a reaction. Just say how you feel. That means you have to own it up now. Say, I feel, I make the statement you, and make sure that after you've asserted and own up what you feel, make sure that what you discuss is about the situation, the problem specifically. Explain to them the problem that is on ground, and explain to them how this problem really upsets you. You can acknowledge how it affects them, because you cannot really fully know how it affects them, but you can acknowledge it, listen, and let it go. All right. So when you feel irritated, breathe for 30 seconds as you count from 0 to 10 or 10 to 0 before you do anything. Thank you for listening, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye for now.